Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here, and this is another little vlog of talking fights where I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the fights that happened over the weekend in the world of combat sports. Two in particular, I lied actually. Three in particular that I had the chance to go ahead and see over the weekend. The first one that I'm going to start off with, I feel that I want to talk about because it kind of made me feel a little not cool with the way the referee stopped the fight, was the UFC main event between Frank Mir and Mark Hunt. It's funny because my friend, excuse me, actually asked me who he should bet for in this fight, and I want to show you guys the text message, or I'll bring up the text message. He bet $250 on Frank Mir, and he noted that, you know what, Frank Mir's stand-up has gotten a lot better. Yeah, even though the last fight that he had, he lost. Overall, he's looked a lot better. Excuse me, guys. Been drinking nothing but energy drinks this morning. Did he look a lot better? And that he was going with him. So I went ahead and texted him back like, hey, I don't think that's a good choice. And I told him, you know what? Frank Mir, for the past few fights, has got a new boxing coach, Angelo Reyes. And Angelo's a great guy. I know him personally. He's been proving a lot in the stand-up, and I felt that coming into this fight, he would want to display again the boxing, because I've noticed with MMA fighters, when they start with boxing training and when they start getting better and improving, they get a bigger sense of confidence in the stand-up. It gets so much to the point where they feel that they could stand with anybody and beat them. We've seen that countlessly, and I guess the best example of that is with Ronda Rousey. You know, Ronda took to boxing with her coach Edmond. It got to a point where her coach Edmond is telling her and telling everybody, you know what, if she were to fight a boxing fight, she would become a world champion. And they start developing this false sense of confidence that, you know what, nobody can touch me. My boxing's so much better than all these other guys in MMA. We've seen it backfired in a lot of instances, especially with Ronda. So I was thinking this coming into the fight and knowing that, you know what, he's probably going to try to take down Mark Hunt. It's not going to happen because it's very, very hard to take down Mark Hunt. It's going to end up being stand-up. Mir has the obvious reach advantage. He's probably thinking, okay, you know what, so once I try to take this guy down and I can't, I'm going to go ahead and pop my jab, pop my 1-2s, and keep him at a distance because I have a reach advantage. So looking at the fight, that's what was happening in round one. But I thought, you know what? The longer the fight stays standing, the more it's prone to go Mark Hunt's way. And I told my friend, you know what? Hunt's going to knock him out. It's going to end up being a boxing fight. They're going to end up standing, and Mark's going to catch him. So, you know, the fight plays out like I thought it would, and which was pretty good because I've been wrong the last few times. I thought Conor would beat Diaz. I thought Holly would beat Miesha Tate last few fights. So he lands that punch, and he hits him in the back of the ear, okay? Frank goes down. Frank's in a position where his guard is open, and from when we were seeing in the TV, he looked aware. He looked like he could have gone more. So that's where I kind of was irked at the ref, because Mark went ahead and walked away. The ref saw that and called the fight off. Yes, I know Frank Mir didn't complain about the stoppage. He stood there. He didn't protest or anything, which ultimately gives credit to the ref's decision to stop the fight. But given that, he looked okay. He looked like that he could have gone a few more seconds. He should have been given the benefit of the doubt. And he should have been given the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion, because he's a former world champion. And we've seen Frank be pretty resilient in certain situations and get out of them. And I felt maybe he should have given him a few more seconds. He was in a position where, okay, Mark would have pounced on him, would have potentially held him and got him to guard. And I think he should have given him a few more seconds because of what happened in the fight prior to that, which is I'm going to get to right now. That Hector Lombard versus Magny fight. Now that fight, it was a great fight, a good comeback for Phil Magny. You know, that fight should have been stopped on two different occasions. All right, in the first round, Lombard's just trashing this guy, just pounding him and just really beating the crap out of him. I think that round is a really good example for people looking what a 10-8 round should look like in MMA. A 10-8 round in MMA isn't you knock the guy down, he gets up, and it's even. No, a 10-8 round in MMA is when like your opponent beats the utter crap out of you, where it's like a total domination and really just beats the living daylights out of you. Lombard did that. Lombard was beating him like a heavy bag. He was pounding the crap out of him. And there was a point in that fight where he had him in the down position and he was eating a lot of shots. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is where the ref stops in and stops it, because in other fights, we've seen the referee come in and stop the fight. To his ever-loving credit, he was able to survive Magny and go on and get the win, which is, why sometimes it's up to the discretion. When you're a referee, you got to really talk to the fighter and be like, hey, are you okay? Give me a sign, give me a sign. Because in a lot of these instances, the ref is going to take caution at the fighter's health first, as opposed to the fighter taking damage. That's their whole job, is to protect the fighter from damage. So when you complain about a stoppage, you also got to be cognizant of the fact of what's the referee's job in there. The job in there is to protect the fighter from taking unnecessary damage or even more damage that's going to shorten their career up. So with that in mind, him not stopping it, I felt, okay, he's obviously hurt. I don't know if he can continue, but he continued in here. Look, I got my little cat here jumping on frame right here. What's up? Say hello to Pino, everybody. Yeah, got a cat. My girlfriend kind of dumped him on me. So get out of here, kitty. So second round comes, all right? Hector's hurt. He's tired, all right? There's a point where he gets mounted and he's just getting pounded on, man. Just pounded on left and right, left and right. The fight should have been stopped. Clearly should have been stopped at that point. I think what was happening is because probably the referee felt that he gave Magny the benefit of the doubt in the first round, that maybe he can give Hector the benefit of the doubt in the second round, because he gave the other guy so much time to see if he could recover, and it was already coming towards the end of that round, and round number 2, like, okay, you know what? I did it for this other guy. I'm going to go ahead and give Hector the benefit of the doubt, even though he should have stopped it, because we saw in the next round he got put away, like almost right away within the first minute of that round number 3. So given that, this guy Magny got some good quality wins against some pretty explosive guys. He beat Silva. We've seen Silva. He's still dangerous, just like Hector. He's always dangerous, but we've seen him get exposed and beat pretty bad. He got a win over Kelvin Gastelum, who's dude. The guy's legit. He's good. We've seen over his body of work. He's a solid guy. He's not a B-level guy. He's a solid guy that, had some solid wins. And now he has a win over Hector Lombard, which is a really big win, because Hector is a really dangerous guy, though he's a guy that we know that fades over time. He has to pace himself. And he's a guy that we know that, from what we've seen, when he takes damage, it really affects him in a way that he's not able to recover fully, and he's in a state where he can be hurt again and again and again. So on the MMA side of things, I felt that that Mark Hunt fight, like I mentioned, a little bit more time for Frank to recover. Big fight for Hunt. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things being set up. I still don't understand as to why Cain Velasquez is fighting Travis Brown at UFC 200. And I don't know why they wouldn't put Werdum and Velasquez at UFC 200 against Travis Brown. That's a tricky fight, I feel, for Cain, but we'll see how Cain is. Cain's always... Man, he's always getting injured, dude. He's like the heavyweight Dominic Cruz, man. He'll have a fight, he'll get injured, and he'll be out for a year. And then he'll have a fight again, and he'll get injured again. It's really sad to see, because this guy was so dominant at a certain point, and it's like, he's doing really well in rematches. He's beating everybody in rematches, and I was really wanting to see how he's going to do with this Werdum rematch, because I felt that, the layoff and fighting in Mexico City and Cain only getting there 2 weeks before, not really acclimating himself, is really what affected him in that fight, because Cain gassed out in that first round. Not even in the first round. The first 3 minutes he gassed out. And we all know by watching Cain, dude doesn't gas out. So what's the tangible there? Why is he gassing out now as compared to before? Age, okay, that's a legitimate reason as to why maybe that's a factor. But he's fighting in high elevation, all right? If you ever been to Mexico City, you know it's tough because you're high elevation. There's a lot of smog there. You know, you feel weird and you'll gas out. You know, that's what it's known for. When the Mexican soccer team forces players to play in Aztec Stadium, Azteca, it's in high elevation, man. Like it's always a burden for the opposing side to play over there because of the elevation, because of the air quality as well. No excuses, though. I'm just saying those could maybe be factors as to why he looked lethargic in that fight, why he gassed out. Though Werdum's dope. I've seen the guy evolve over the years. When he first started out, I remember covering him. I was one of the only guys that would consistently go and talk to Werdum about his fights. I met up with him before his fight with Fedor. And over the years, I've seen him progress and get so much better in his striking, more versatile, more technical. He looks more crisp and actually more confident and in better shape now ever since he's been with Master Rafael Cordero over there at King's MMA in Huntington. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and transition over to the boxing side of things. Over the weekend, we saw the return of Mile High Mike Alvarado. I was brain farting just right there. See, this is how long he's been away. He's been away for a year, and he went ahead and made his return. The last fight that we saw Mike Alvarado in was his loss against Brandon Rios, and he looked terrible. He looked so bad, and I remember I was getting text messages from people saying like, yeah, he's not really training, he's out partying for that Rios fight. And Alvarado even admitted that he only partied, he did party, he did a lot of partying, but he only trained for about 2.5 weeks for that fight. And we saw what happened. He got blown out by Brandon Rios, who was determined, who was in shape, and didn't want to lose that rubber match against Alvarado. So coming into this fight, I kind of had mixed feelings. One, thinking coming in, you know what, your last performance, you looked really, really bad. You're already 35. Why are you continuing to fight? The other part is like, okay, you didn't really train for that last fight. Let's see how you look in this fight. So watching him, I felt like he had a good high guard, but the guy that they put him against, the guy was not good at all. He's terrible. The guy wasn't good at all. And this guy was lighting him up the first and second round with combinations. He was landing on Alvarado 4s and 5s. And I was just like, what the heck? Like, how is this guy landing on Mike? And Mike, I was trying to remember, like, okay, what's like the vintage Mike Alvarado performance? I'm like, okay, well, the second Rios fight, he did really well. He boxed brilliantly against Brandon Rios, but he still got hit a lot, even though he had a crisper defense. And he's been out for a year. We can always take that into account. Like, okay, any fighter that steps back in is going to have some sort of not delayed reaction, but you're going to tell they're not going to look as sharp as they were before, because iron sharpens iron. If you're out for a year, you're not going to be as sharp as a guy who last fight was 3-4 months ago. It's just how it is. It's nature, So on that point, I didn't like how he was taking a lot of those shots from a lower quality opponent, even though I felt he did do well in some instances with that high guard coming in. Now, Mike's usually a guy that he's shown he can box when he wants to, but he's more of a guy that's in the inside in landing his shots. He did really well with the uppercut. He's always had a really good uppercut, and I think that's what eventually set up the knockout win that he had in the third round. It was an uppercut followed by a few more punches. Overall, did he do well? I don't think so. I would have liked to have seen him not get hit as much by the punches that he got hit, given the quality level of the opponent that he was up against. He's 35 right now, and I'm sure that if he continues into this year, that they're going to push him into a fight with either Jesse Vargas with either Kell Brook. The fight with Vargas is a lot easier to make. I know he's going to push for a title shot. They'll probably give him one more, not tune-up fight, but one more meaningful fight, and then they'll probably push him into a title shot because given top-ranked stable of welterweights, it's not really big. It's really small. You got Manny, you got Timmy, you got Vargas, And I really don't know who else. You know, you got some people on the Golden Boy side that they can make fights with. Matisse, Postol. No, those are 40s. My bad. Saddam Ali, who just got knocked out, but they're not going to put him against a guy like Mike Alvarado, I don't think. So, to me, if you were to ask me, I think Vargas would be the logical choice. It's an in-house fight. Can Mike, at this current juncture, win a world title against a Jesse Vargas or a Kell Brook? I don't think so. I think against a Kell Brook, he does really bad because Kell is a really good boxer, really good at distance. And you look at Kell, he's really, really big for that welterweight division. That dude's a big welterweight for that division. His frame is like a frame of a super middleweight or a middleweight. He's just a thick guy, you know? Like, when you see Anderson Silva in person, you look at him and you're like, whoa, like, you're a lot bigger in person than, like, what you look like on TV. And it's not, like, muscular big. It's just their frame and their bone structure is just, like, really thick, you know? So, and Kell's one of those dudes, and I think Kell keeps Alvarado at the distance with the same way he did with Porter, jab, jab, cross. But we all know that Kell doesn't fight over here in the U.S. I would hope that fight right there would be something that would entice him to come over to the U.S., but he doesn't really ever come over here in the U.S. Jesse Vargas, I feel that it'd be a good fight between Alvarado and Jesse Vargas. I think Vargas wins a clear decision, but I think it'd be a good fight. It'd be a competitive fight. And that's a good style matchup between the two guys. So that's my 2 cents on all the action that happened over the weekend. We got a good week of content coming up over here at Fight Up TV. We have the Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley 3 undercard workouts on Tuesday that we're going to be providing coverage. On Wednesday, the Victor Ortiz, Andre Berto 2 kickoff press conference. And we're going to be going ahead and giving you guys coverage of Manny Pacquiao's training camp throughout the week. I know last Friday we uploaded his full morning workout over at Pan Pacific Park in Hollywood, so go ahead and check that out. Go ahead and follow us online on all our social media, at Fight Up TV on the tweets, at Fight Up TV on Instagram, and on our Facebook page as well. Go ahead and give me a follow too. I occasionally post some non-boxing stuff on my social media at Hey It's Marcos V on Twitter and Hey It's Marcos V on Instagram, and follow me on Snapchat as well, Marcos on the Snaps on Snapchat. Thank you guys as always for going ahead and tuning in to us today. This is Talking Fights. We're over the weekend. We saw Mike Alvarado make a year-long return, getting a knockout win in round number 3, and we saw Mark Hunt knock out Frank Mir at UFC Brisbane in Australia. Thank you guys for watching so much, and go ahead and tune to us this week. We're going to have a lot of content coming your way, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and bid adieu to you guys. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.